Bedtime stories made for you by Diggy and George.
The Magic Pasta Pot. Young Lucia lived with her mom on the edge of a little wood. They had very little money and often went hungry. One day, Lucia went into the wood to pick some berries to eat, but she couldn't find any at all. She sat down on a tree stump and started to cry. Just then, she heard a voice. She looked up and saw a little old lady wearing a huge cloak. "Don't cry, young Lucia," said the old lady kindly. "I have a present for you." And from under her cloak, she pulled a shiny copper pot. "Put this pot on your stove and say, 'Boil, little pot,' and it will make you perfect pasta. When you have eaten enough, say, 'Stop, little pot,' and it will do as you asked." Lucia hugged the little old woman and ran home as fast as she could. She put the pot into the stove and said, "Boil, little pot," and the pot made the most delicious macaroni for Lucia and her mother. Each day, the pot made every kind of pasta and delicious sauce that you could imagine, and Lucia and her mom never went hungry. Then it happened one day when Lucia was out that her mother wanted some pasta. So she put the pot into the stove and cried, "Boil, little pot." The pot made her the best spaghetti that she had ever tasted. When she had eaten enough, she said, "Thank you, little pot. You can stop now." But the little pot didn't stop. More and more spaghetti appeared until it reached the top of the pot and started to wiggle over the sides. Lucia's mom jumped back. "No more, no more," she cried. "I have had enough." But the pot carried on cooking the pasta, and soon it was snaking across the floor. Lucia's mom ran out of the door and down the path towards the village. The pot boiled faster and faster. Spaghetti wriggled down the path after her. It coiled and swirled its way down every village street. Just then, Lucia came around the corner and met the squiggling, wiggling mass of spaghetti. She knew at once what to do. She gathered as many villagers as she could and told them to scream, "Stop, little pot," all together at once. And they did just that at the top of their voices. At last, the little pot stopped. That day, the villagers had the biggest pasta party that you could ever imagine, and what was left was soon gobbled up by the cats and dogs. After that, young Lucia took charge of the pot, and once a year, she and her mother invited everyone to the village square for a wonderful pasta party.